Oh, very happy. Very happy indeed.
How do you know someone is happy, though?
You can know someone is happy by when he exudes his emotional state. It reflects a high level of mental and emotional well-being. Right. Somebody exudes it, and it cannot be hidden. The happiness is normally reflected on the face and the body language.
There's something interesting that former governor said.
Yeah.
Money can't buy happiness. I mean, for sure, that can't really be true, is it? I mean, if I know in my bank account I had 1 million of shillings somewhere, I'd at least have a smile. Most Kenyans really believe that. Is that true?
It is yes and no, because money is part of the things that make one have a positive or rather flourish. Positive emotions, engagement, relationship, accomplishment, meaning, and money. Okay. So money is part of it. Without money, you may not be able to achieve your full potential, because you need money to be able to meet other goals. As you approach your full potential or self-actualization, because that's our aim. Everyone aims to be a great person. So how do you achieve it without money? So it's part of it. Money has to be part of it. However, you cannot rely on money alone to make you happy. You must look for other ways of making yourself happy.
How much of a chunk does money factor in on happiness?
I can put it at like 30%.
Out of 100?
Out of 100.
I was expecting something like 70% so that I can be happier.
No, 30%. Why? The rest should be taken over by your family.
Okay.
By your health.
Okay.
And by the satisfaction you get at your place of work or the business you do.
Okay.
And by the friends you make, and by how you avoid getting into trouble with the law enforcement, and how your spirituality also helps you to flourish, because flourishing is what makes happiness. Thank you.
We were listening to this interview with you here,
yes.
And it was interesting for the former governor, the journey of happiness. He really had to, overseas to really look for happiness. He went to a happiness academy in the United States of America. Personally, as Stanley Nyarungita, I really want to be happy. I'm happy this morning. I'm happy that we're having even the premiere, debut of this episode of Morning Cafe here, and your second guest, this particular Morning Cafe. But then I'd really want to be happier than that. So how do I know that I really need to seek for this happiness?
Happiness is premised on various aspects of life. Genetic predisposition, the environment, and your engagement in life. So if you are looking forward to being happy, and you've been through a process of maybe some upheavals or of troubles in life, then you need to seek counseling services so that you can be put on a better framework of how to be happy. And if you had gone into issues like a depression, then you need to take more sessions to recover. If someone had gone into issues like drug addiction, substance abuse, then you also need it so that you can avoid things like that addiction and many other things that come with that kind of problems.
Right.
Yes.
And the fact that you mentioned pardon me, depression,
yes.
I'm curious, for someone who is in that process of healing,
yeah.
But then they have triggers. Maybe today was their birthday and they're really in a happy moment, but then they have these triggers. How do they achieve and maintain the happiness?
That one is done through, like I said, counseling. Because if you go through, if you are taken through cognitive behavioral therapy, because the cognitive handles the thinking aspect, because it goes in 3 blocks: think, feel, and behave. What are you thinking that makes you go into maybe panic attacks? Or what are you thinking to be able to bring your negative emotions? So you must deal with your negative thoughts. How do you deal with the negative thoughts? Is by replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts. For example, many ladies come to my clinic and say, my husband abused me, that I am useless. And the key thing is, look at it as this man maybe was manipulating you. It depends on his personality. It depends on how he was raised up. If he has narcissistic tendencies, then he has the propensity or the capability of the inclination of gaslighting you. He wants to guilt trip you so that you can be manipulated and therefore you can follow his instructions. So the only thing, you replace those negative thoughts with positivity. I am ugly. Say I am beautiful. For him to have married me, he found me beautiful. So he's just cheating. Then you'll work around it.
All right.
Yes.
And okay, the fact that you were speaking about having to go overseas looking for a happiness academy, do we have such in Kenya?
Yes, there are people who have come up with such facilities, and most of them are still at rehabilitation levels. There are centers that deal with rehabilitating someone through a process of counseling and treatment. We have hospitals, but we are maybe we should appeal to the government to come up with many institutions that can deal with people who are not able to pay for such services. For example, I was in a forum somewhere, and when we were put in a group to handle the participants, my group had so many students from colleges and secondary schools who are struggling with addiction, but the parents didn't know. And the question was, Daktari, how can I be helped to stop addiction without my parents knowing? And we tried to look for places where we can take these students, and we had very few. So my appeal to the government is that we need as many institutions as possible, if possible in each and every county, to help needy students and people who are not able to pay for expensive services.
And speaking of which, walk me through what really happens. If I was to walk into a Happiness Academy after this show, what steps will I be required to follow?
There are stipulated steps. It depends on what took you there. Because if you went there because you are making money but you are not having happiness, it means you have things bedeviling you. Maybe if it's depression, what is the cause? We have to deal with the cause, because it is cause and effect. What causes you not to be happy?
Okay.
Is it the way you are raised up? Do you have childhood trauma? We have to deal with that childhood trauma before we now put you on the right framework, because people are not aware that traumas in life are the ones that bring many of the people or the affected people down. Somebody struggling with negative thoughts, he was abused, or he was raised up being by a stepmother who was hostile, or by a stepbrother who was hostile, then it has to be dealt with first before this person can achieve happiness. And I think that is the area that these academies, happiness academies, are dealing with this, the psychoanalysis, the psychodynamics. In other words, the processes that a human being goes through as he grows up. People have neglected the aspect of looking forward to retirement, for example. they should be prepared for retirement. If you retire and you have money, but you are not socializing with the people around you, then you will never be happy. If you have retired, you have gone to the village, you don't have people to come and say hi to you, you don't go to church, you are isolated. The chances of dying very early are very high. So the academies prepare people for those kind of scenarios.
How long might this process take, though? And the final result, I really want to be happy, will it be immediate? Will it be, the fact that I'm out of maybe this facility, this institution, it will be an immediate effect. I'll be radiating happiness wherever I go, walking around town, nasalimia tunaambia, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Is it immediate?
Happiness is not achieved through immediacy. Mm-hmm. It is a process that takes time. It's like what we tell clients, that counseling is not a one-off phenomenon. It takes time. We structure the psychotherapy treatment plan based on the issues that have brought the client. Same as when someone goes to a happiness center or academy. He's gone there with a purpose, and therefore it will be structured. The timing will be structured based on the project. It's like we use the SMART way of setting goals.
Right.
We set goals for the client, and then SMART, which means it has to be specific. What is the specificity of the problem that has brought him? It has to be measurable. It has to be achievable. It has to be realistic, and then time-bound. So time is set based on the weight of the problem. It may take 2 months, it may take 3 months, it may take a year.
Right.
Yeah.
And speak of the age group.
Yes.
Earlier you talked about college students asking you about matters addiction and all that. How do you look at it? Would you say maybe children who are below 18 years who don't really have a lot of responsibility on their plate might tend to be happier than someone who's 30 years old? Wanakumbuka they have to pay rent, they have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and all that. They might tend to be sad. How do you really rate the whole age group on matters being happy?
Happiness is relative. Let me start with adolescents. Those who have unhappiness have gone through a process. Some of them have gone through a process of neglect. It's unfortunate that parents are busy looking for money. Most of the clients that I have, and it's very disturbing, is that the parents are doing very well, but the children are left at home. They are being raised by social media. They are not able to study. Even if they are in those very expensive schools, they are not being guided, and therefore they are misled. They may have a very good intelligence quotient, but they are growing up without social quotient, without emotional quotient, because the emotional quotient is what enables a human being be able to control his emotions in times of danger, or in times of threats, or in times of phenomena that need strength and emotional strength.
Right.
So when we neglect our children, we leave them on social media. There are problems of addiction. And when a child gets addicted to social media, for example, snatching the gadgets, removing the gadgets from this child, the child becomes hostile. That's why we have a lot of hostility in the US, and even in Kenya, it's now there. Mm-hmm. You withdraw those gadgets. For example, you have realized it's not performing well. You are not replacing those gadgets with another coping mechanism. Then it will not work. Now, to go age by age, I've dealt with adolescents. This adolescent will grow into a young adult. Maybe he has finished university, he's passed very well, but he's not been guided through his, how he could construct his emotional intelligence and his social quotient. Definitely, he'll have been misled, and he will go into issues that are not helpful. He will have problem with planning his finances. He will have problems with addiction because maybe he's in drugs and alcohol. He will have problem with dealing with society. He will not be accepted. He will have problem with law enforcement. Yes, he has passed very well, but he's a misfit in society.
All right. Last question before I get your last words.
Yeah.
For family which is watching you right about now,
Yes.
maybe an extended family or a nuclear family, they really want to, pursue this whole journey of being happy. Yeah. What are the tricks of, being happy even as a family? Because I feel like, being happy radiates. If I'm close to you, I feel like, today Weku is really happy, and I'd also be happy. Because I'd want to, I'd want to also feel what you're feeling. So as a family, maybe, they're having breakfast right now.
Yes.
And, maybe the dad isn't happy. So it really radiates across board. So which kind of tricks would you give this particular family this morning? So that they know, what, if dad isn't happy, this is what we do. Or maybe if mom isn't happy, this is what we do.
Okay. My first advice to parents is they must have resilience. Children go through a lot of emotions because they are learning and then trying to cope with life. So they need to be guided, and the parents need to have the patience with the children. Stay with your children, have time with them, guide them, and ensure that they are taken through the path, because even the Bible says, raise a child the way you would like him to be in future.
Right.
For the children need to understand that parents are also going through a lot of hurdles in life. They need to accept advice. If they are admonished, let them take it positively, because some children revolt because they've been corrected. They don't like correction. Finally, families need to know about enmeshment and autonomy. As a child is growing up, are you raising this child to be autonomous, or you want to hold the child and shackle the child to yourself as he grows, because you are using this child as a commercial enterprise? If that is the case, then this family will not stay together. The children will fear that our parents want to make money out of us. So some of them may avoid even coming at home. Are you training these children to work at home also? Are they able to do house chores? Are they relying on the maid? Because if they are relying on the maid, the day the maid will go, then the family will have problems. You'll tell them, wash the dishes. They'll refuse. They'll say, we have not been used to this.
Right.
So it depends on the training the parents bring at home.
And speaking of training,
yes.
I'm pretty sure now this family is curious. How do I get Weku as a counseling psychologist to sit down and really pursue this particular journey? As your last words, how can they find you? Okay.
I am found in my clinic. I operate at Oledume Road, which is off Ngong Road.
Right.
If you are in a bus from town, you alight at Posta Telcom, Ngong Road. You cross the road and call me, or come to Oledume junction of Riara Road.
Right.
You'll get me. At the same time, I consult with various hospitals.
Right.
I work with psychiatrists. I deal with mental disorders. Having trained in mental health facilities, I have been through Madare. I have done my training at Amani Counseling Center. I'm still affiliated to it.
Right.
So I'm available on phone. My telephone number is 0700-187-926. Can I repeat?
Most definitely.
0700-187-926. 187 926.
Right. Thank you very much, Alfred Weku, counseling psychologist. I'm really happy that you came through, and really have to maintain that particular happiness. And I'm pretty sure that you are happy as well as you're watching this new look of Morning Cafe. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Welcome back, and thank you for keeping it Morning Cafe. Now, today is quite a busy day as the Azimio protests are expected to take place. And remember, the Azimio coalition has been planning for these demos. They announced that they will happen Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And last Wednesday was quite chaotic with the vandalizing of different parts of the expressway, and it's protests that happened pretty much in most parts of the country. And today as well, this is being witnessed in some parts of the city as well as different parts of the county. And now we interact with our correspondents from different parts of the country as well as our city reporters to just paint to us a picture of what is happening and how perhaps the security is, the businesses going on, and what is expected. Let us now join our reporter who is based in Kakamega County, Violet Auma, to bring us up to speed on the latest in that specific county and how the situation is like there. Good morning, Violet. How are you doing? If you can hear me clearly, do update us on the latest in Kakamega County as far as the Azimio protests are expected.
Yeah, thank you so much, Limuki. It is a good morning here in Kakamega County. Actually, it's sunny. Nothing much really happened the previous Mandamano, that is last week. But this week, of course, earlier on, we were able to talk to the former Kakamega governor, Wycliffe Oparanya, who said, of course, they will be organizing protest in Kakamega County. But again, we have two factions here in Kakamega. We have those who are for the demonstrations and those who are against. But probably, if I can just tell you a little bit of what we've done, a spotlight in different parts of Kakamega. We were able to see a number of police officers just keeping everything okay in the areas, and of course we were able to see some of the businesses. Of course, they have been opened, but again, I don't know if things will change later on. But of course, I am with a group here as well. But now this one, they are not for demonstrations. For them, some are coming from the business community, and they're saying they really don't want demonstrations because they're going to make losses. And let me bring them in to get their views. Maybe kwa majina tueleze, alafu na mbona mnasema ya kwamba nyinyi hamtaki maandamano?
Kwa majina naitwa Kevin Mahelo, mimi ni MCA katika kaunti ya Kakamega. Siku ya leo tuko hapo kusema Kakamega hatutaki maandamano. Tunataka kuambia wafanyabiashara wa Kakamega, walimu wa Kakamega na kila mtu aendelee na shughuli yake. Sababu hatutaki maandamano ni kuwa kura ilipigwa mwaka jana na kura ingine tena itapigwa mwaka wa 2027. Kwa hivyo tunamuomba Raila Odinga apatie William Ruto nafasi afanye kazi. Maandamano itaharibu uchumi wetu, kuendelea kuharibu kabisa. Jambo la pili, kwa niaba ya MCAs wa Kakamega County, tunataka kuambia governor aliyekuwa wetu, governor Oparanya, tulichukua pesa mingi sana na muda mrefu sana kujenga Kakamega. Kwa hivyo hatutakubali Oparanya na timu yake kuja haribu Kakamega tena.
Sawa.
Kwa majina naitwa Moses Msundi, MCA representing Sheyo Ward hapa town. Kwanza nataka kuhakikishia wafanyabiashara wote Kakamega town wa uchukuzi wa bodaboda, Kakamega iko peaceful, maduka imefunguliwa, watu wa transport wanafanya kazi yao, na sisi tuko hapa kusema tunataka amani. Tunataka nini? Amani. Maandamano tawe, maandamano tawe. Tunataka amani, na tunasema watu wa muungano wa Azimio wape serikali ya Kenya Kwanza nafasi ifanye kazi.
Sasa kidogo cha tuzungumza na mfanyabiashara kwako kaka, songa kidogo hapo.
Sisi kama wafanyabiashara wadogo wa Kakamega tunakashifu kabisa mambo ya maandamano. Tunaomba muungano wa Azimio usitishe maandamano, utupatie muda tufanye biashara. Maandamano yakiendelea, biashara inarudi chini na hatuwezi kuza uchumi wetu. Tunataka tufanye biashara, tusaidie rais wetu kupandisha uchumi na kurekebisha uchumi. Hatutaki maandamano hapa Kakamega.
Thank you so much. So, Limuki, as you've heard, of course, we have a number of them who really want to talk and share their views. But this is a section that for them, they are against the demonstrations. But as I said earlier, we were able to talk to the former governor, Kakamega County, who also said that they're going to stage demonstrations here in Kakamega County. Of course, the Azimio protest, but of course, we will keep an eye of what will be happening. And of course, we will be telling our viewers at TV47 what will be transpiring in Kakamega County. I take it back to you, Flora Limuki.
Well, thank you, Violet Auma, for that comprehensive update. That's our reporter from Kakamega County. And of course, all our eyes are on the ongoing protest today. We keep following up what is happening across the country in different counties, as well as right here in Nairobi County. But now let's look at what are people saying on the socials, even as Maandamano Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is trending at #1. I see here Abby Zwena says, explain to me, like a 2-year-old, why funding Maandamano is a crime. UDA financiers were the first to be rewarded with lucrative jobs and tax evasion since wiped off. Juzi, the government funded the Homa Bay political meeting. What about this funding is illegal? To Davis Ranera says, to be honest, there is no Maandamano in Kenya. 99.999% Kenyans remain indoors. All we have is a sponsored terrorist group which attack, loot businesses, and disappear. A real people-driven protest would have been pushed by government to submission. What interesting feedbacks right there. And in Nairobi, I see the security is quite beefed up in different parts of the city, including the State House Road in town and other parts of Kibera. See, Daniel Ofisi says, now is the time for our two leaders to sit down and have a meaningful dialogue in order to end the ongoing demonstrations. It's critical that we make steps towards putting an end to this unrest as quickly as possible. And someone else here says, Maandamano Wednesday in Rongai, Langata Road, Mbagathi Way, and Gwang Road, Nairobi CBD is quite lonely. Public transport available, some people going to work, and business in town is closed. But right now, let's link up with our Naivasha-based reporter, Willie Dennis Njiru, to update us on the situation in Naivasha. Good morning, Dennis. I trust you're doing well. How is Naivasha looking like this morning ahead of the protest?
Thank you very much, my colleagues in studio. Indeed, coming to you live from Naivasha. We are the main terminals are here in Naivasha that links Nairobi and Naivasha to various matatu circles here. And the situation is quite crazy here. As the situation is right now, just to paint an image on what it is, this is Nairobi Naivasha United Services. It is one of the many circles that it's one of the fleets that does Nairobi and Naivasha, and this is vehicle number 5. In a normal day, this should be 50 plus vehicles. I'm told by the management only 4 vehicles have left this place since 6 a.m. when they started to receive their first passengers. On normal days, they open their doors to the public by around 4 a.m. and by around this time, and like they have said, they always have 50 vehicles plus. And across the road here, we have Kasese, which is also another circle that ferry passengers to and from Nairobi. And as you can see, just down there, we have boards that indicate it is Nairobi Direct, and they are actually closed today. They are not working. And another that does a fleet here is 2NK, which is yet to deliver any vehicle to Nairobi as the situation is. The other that has managed to do actually a vehicle is the Aberdare Line Circle, just across or over the other side of the divide on that side, where only a vehicle has managed to do travels to Nairobi. That indicates about, from 3 circles, about just 6 vehicles have managed to ferry passengers to Nairobi. As the situation is right now, we have had a few rounds here in town, and indeed security is highly beefed up. Hardly you will take 5-10 minutes without seeing a Land Cruiser, police Land Cruiser loaded with anti-riot police, with full riot gears. And it has been a situation here since morning. The surveillance has been going on throughout the night, but normalcy still retains here within the town CBD. If my camera person could just pan across, that is yet another police Land Cruiser just going down there with anti-riot police officers. We would like to also notify to our viewers that across the many social platforms that are within Naivasha locality, we have had clarion calls by many of the forums that are the social forums around here for everyone to foster and maintain peace. And everybody has been called to ensure that there is peace from within you and peace within those around you, so that at least we can maintain peace. And if you listen to what they have to say, they say, actually, we have had our own problems, the leaders have had their own problems, and it is at that time we set a rift between them and us. Everybody, as much as the situation, the economic situation is as is, we must ensure that we create an environment, an enabling environment for us all. We must not forget that the proclamation by the president a few days ago was made actually on this very same town days ago, when the president said that we will not again accept the situation as we saw on Mombasa Road, where there was a lot of destruction of property, and that was not good and being welcomed by anybody, actually. Yesterday, we also had a spot check and then an eye to various sectors here, that is the supermarkets and the main market, and there was a bit of panic buying. We will see that some people would actually exhaust what they had in their pockets to ensure that they had stock for at least a few days, not privy to what may befall the country within the confinements of today, the day after, that is tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and the subsequent days to come. But nonetheless, following all this, the panic buying was across the marketplaces and the supermarkets. They ripped big, actually, for doing that. But on the other side, on the market side, they were lamenting that what will not go on sale on that very day will be subjected to waste, because these are perishable goods that they must be consumed on a regular basis. We will be keeping you up to speed on what is developing around this place, and estates to keep an eye to is Kabati, Site, County Council and Karagita, which as up to now have maintained a lot of normalcy. As you can see around, if my camera person could just pan around, everything seems very, very normal. But in well said and done, this is a place that always has an influx of people moving here about. But today we just have just a fraction of people, and I believe most of them are indoors. As the story was, they should keep indoors and be safe, if nothing you are doing outside. I believe that this is what we must all embrace. We must know that this country is all ours, and for us here at TV47, we must continue with the emphasis to all our citizens across the country that peace is for us to keep. For those countries that have not witnessed peace, then we must learn from them. The Swahili man said, mwenzako akinyolewa, chako kichwa tia maji. From me here in Naivasha, that is it for now. My colleagues in studio, take it back from me here.
Well, thank you so much, Willie Dennis Njeru, for that update. And of course, we'll be linking up with you a little bit later to just check up what is going on in Naivasha County. But for now, let me look at what people are saying on the socials. CS Kindiki Karan Venture says, CS Kindiki should be going around the streets, assuring Kenyans that they are safe and that the government is in control, like his predecessor Matiang'i used to do. Power abhors a vacuum. And Baba Moja here says, mambo imechemka. Raila has achieved what he wanted, total shutdown of the country to deny the government revenue through tax collection, a crisis in Kenya Kwanza government led by Ruto. The professor of politics said power belongs to the people, indeed. And someone else here says, so mna hype maandamano, mkijua tu vitu vizuri, anything can happen. And people are, this is on Twitter. Good morning, Kenya. May the Lord of Peace himself give you peace at all times. Maandamano Wednesday to Friday arrested Thika Road, Meru. Quite. And then someone else here says, President Moi showed that it's practical to arrest Raila. Let's go to the dark side we are afraid of. We can't behold hostages after every 5 years by an individual. Let's. I'm trying to look at what people are saying on Twitter. Mudhoni Kamau says, I really pity the police during this protest. They also have it worse, and people are out here thinking they are the bad ones. Remember, for a long time, in the last protest that happened on Wednesday, we saw quite some rough interactions between the police and the protesters. And who should the blame be put upon? Someone says, Meru people are tired and not deterred by Kindiki threats. We can't have a Kenya as a company for the small rich people like Gachagua and Ruto who insult real hustlers by claiming to be like them. I see Bogi Mena says he overpromised. Now they are demanding he do what he promised. Bring down the cost of living. Na hii mambo itaisha, because the way this maandamano thing is taking shape, it will only get bigger and popular. Quite strong sentiments from Kenyans there on socials. But right now we link up with our Mombasa-based reporter Paul Munio to update us on what the situation is looking like in Mombasa. Good morning, Paul. If you can hear me, do update us on what is happening in Mombasa. Are businesses up and running? What are Mombasa people saying about the Azimio protests that are set to happen today? Paul?
Well, thank you so much. It's quite a beautiful morning. Well, thank you so much. It's quite a beautiful morning and a peaceful one as for now in Mombasa County. We are expecting to see what will be happening in Mombasa County, what Azimio la Umoja One Kenya had requested. And of course, what we can see and what we can observe as for now is that we have a less traffic compared to the normal days. We have less traffic, few matatus operating in the island, and of course less is happening in the city. Some businesses remain closed. Probably the people want to remain at home and just observe what will be happening in the TV sets. Well, of course, you are facing Nkrumah Road, which heads to the government offices. And of course, one that leads to the State House here in Mombasa. The governor's office is at that particular direction. We have other offices. We have the Parliament, the Mombasa Parliament is facing that direction. As you can see, we have few people. We have less traffic, few tuk-tuks operating. And of course, as you can see from your screens, we are directing you to the road that heads to Likoni, that heads to the ferry. Of course, the same situation, as you can see, a few traffic, and we understand that this might be led by the directives that were, a memo that was issued yesterday by the Interior Ministry with the Ministry of Education, saying that Mombasa was cited that there were plans to unleash terror or violence in schools, and of course this led the CS Kithure Kindiki to direct the schools in Mombasa as well as in Nairobi and Kisumu to remain closed for the better part of today and until further notice. Well, of course, these are precautions that were followed. We didn't see schools opening today as expected for universities. Of course, as high schools, primary schools remain closed in Mombasa. Just to take you back to Wednesday, we experienced maandamano. We experienced a battle running between the police officers and the protesters who engaged in a running battle. Of course, there were tear gases and security was tightened, and what we expected today is more of that security being tightened even further. Of course, they want to start their demonstrations. They had announced that they will start their demonstrations from 8 a.m. in the morning, and of course, it is 9 a.m. rather, and 9:27 a.m. and less is happening. We don't know what is gonna happen later. Of course, it's a wait and see. And we also had received a press a conference invite from UDA members of parliament from this particular region, and I'm informed that that meeting has not yet happened. Of course, we were waiting to hear what they have to say about the day. Right now, you're facing the direction that heads to Mwembe Tayari, and a direction that has come from, enter the island through the Nyali Bridge and getting into the CBD. Of course, less is happening. We are facing the direction where the protesters also were meant to meet at 8 a.m. That has also not happened. So it's a wait-and-see situation and see whatever is happening. Of course, the security has been tightened. We have already seen security officers patrolling the city and making sure that the city remains as peaceful as possible. So for now, I'll take you back to the studio. My name is Paul Monio.
Well, thank you, Paul, for that. And of course, we continue following up on the latest happening concerning the Azimio protest. And from the spot check we've heard from our reporters from different parts of the country, it looks quite peaceful as of now. But of course, we'll keep updating you as soon as we get the news. But right now, we take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned. And thank you for keeping it TV47. Of course, keep interacting with us on our social media handles at TV47 News, on Twitter, TV47 Kenya, on Facebook, Limuki_F, Fred Indimuli at Nyaringeta_ on Twitter. And we continue with the conversation on the Azimio protest. And of course, we'll be shortly joining our reporter, Moiga William, to bring us up to speed on told we join Chichi Josephine from Nakuru County to update us on the situation in Nakuru County as of now, as far as the Azimio protests are concerned. Chichi?
Yeah, Flora, a very good morning to you, and we're indeed coming live to you from Nakuru County. But right just before I tell you the situation, the real situation here in this particular county, understand that I'll be drawing you a picture of what it means to be in Nakuru, and of course what it means for Nakuru in this particular country. Remember that this particular county that bears the name Nakuru has played host to many political events, and coalitions have been made here. It is the mother of politics, and understand that in case of anything happening in this particular county, then everything will not be going all in this particular country that bears the name Kenya. Therefore, Flora, just before that, I'll be able to take you through to just understand that the situation here is quite calm, everything going on as expected, but understand it is quite different from what happened last Wednesday. And if my camera person can just show you, the shops are open, all the shops are open, activities ongoing as usual, but understand that last time on Wednesday, it was the very first time for Nakuru County to take part in the demonstrations that have been going on. And remember that Azimio la Umoja demonstrators, of course, went to the street and they are lamenting about the high cost of living. That is the situation, Flora. And just to tell you that it's not deserted compared to other counties. The town is quite full, activities ongoing, matatus, people boarding matatus to different parts of this county. And of course, as you can see, people are still moving up and down, of course, going on with their activities. And just like I had told you earlier, is that businesses are ongoing. And these particular shops last Wednesday were all closed, Flora. Understand that this very county is quite crucial when it comes to politics, and of course there was tension somehow yesterday, and everybody could say that this very day, this very Wednesday, that is today, they are not going to open shops, but it is quite different, as you can see. Remember that the county commander for this particular county, that is Samuel Ndanyi, has assured, or rather yesterday assured, that it's going to be well, and security apparatus are in all places in this very county. And of course, just to tell you that we had, or rather when I was coming to town, I had gone or traversed to different parts of this very town, and it was all calm. And understand that police patrols are set in different places of this particular county. And therefore, Flora, we will be, of course, going to different parts of this county, or rather this town of Nakuru, and we shall get, of course, to know how is everything going on there. But just like my camera person is showing you right now, is that activities are ongoing, matatus, people boarding matatus to different places, shops open, and like I have told you as well, is that there was a promise for security. And I have told you, I have been to different places in this particular town, and the security is beefed up. So there is, for now, we cannot really compare this very day, compared today with last Wednesday, where it was all chaotic. But understand also the outskirts of this very town, the places like Shabab, Pondamali, Ronda, and other places were the places that were mad with demonstrators, and of course, trying to throw stones and burning of tires on the roads. But understand that I shall be able also to go to those very places. We shall be getting to Pondamali, we shall be going to Ronda, we shall be going to Shabab, where it was all chaotic last time, and we will get to know how the situation is. However, in this very town of Nakuru County, as you can see, there is nothing to worry about. People are in town. They are not worried of anything. Remember, I've told you the county commander assured them of their security, even as the demonstrators will be hitting the streets today in different parts of the county. But I had also clearly indicated to you, Flora, that last Wednesday was the very first time for Nakuru to be involved in these particular demonstrations, and it has never happened. Why? Because we had talked to other, of course, to residents in this very county, and they said they know what it means to lose businesses. They know what it means to lose their loved ones because of the 207, 208 skirmishes. And remember, Nakuru County is one of the counties in the Rift Valley region, and Rift Valley was all chaotic back in 207 and 208. So they said they are not going to be part of these particular maandamano, regardless of the high cost of living. But they know the pain of losing what they own, and they know the pain of losing their loved ones. Therefore, that is why it is not so deserted. The town is quite full, as you can see. Everyone is just walking, heading to probably where they are to work, or rather to their different destinations. Therefore, Flora, I will be able to traverse to different parts of this very county, and of course I will be right back to bring to tabs to our viewers to what will be happening in this very county. And in case of anything, I've told you I will be coming back here to update you to what will be happening in this very county that bears the name Nakuru. Therefore, over to you, Flora. My name is Chichi Josephine.
Well, thank you, Chichi, for that. And quite a different situation from Wednesdays last week. Today seems to be a little bit contained in most parts of the country. And looking at what people are saying here as far as the Nairobi Central Business District is concerned, a place that has been the center of the protesters. The last few protests that we've been seeing since the Azimio Brigade started the anti-government protest. But I see people here saying on Twitter, Mwangi says, I saw Senator Cherargei chest thumping that business will go as usual today in Nairobi CBD. We can all agree that Baba Raila Odinga is a movement. Everything has stopped. Schools have been closed for 3 good days. Respect Baba. Enough is enough. And from the pictures that I see here, it's the CBD is quite deserted, as even the security is beefed up in most parts of the city. And someone else says here Nairobi CBD is empty, and Bado, the president, says there is no handshake. There's quite some interesting feedback here, but some of them we'll have to discuss them a little bit later. Teacher Gashara says many businesses are closed at Nairobi CBD, Mombasa, Kisumu, Thika and Meru counties. Kenya losing tax and revenue due to maandamano. Foreign investors and tourism sectors losing too. Let's focus on peace, love and harmony. Kenya is our responsibility. Quite interesting feedback there, because as of last week, I remember the KEPSA says that we're losing at least 3 billion shillings weekly. And now those are live pictures from the Nairobi CBD, security officers there overseeing what is going on in CBD. It looks quite quiet today as compared to other days. But perhaps our reporter Mwege William will be joining us in a short while to update us what is happening, as is currently at the Nairobi Central Business District. And now will be joining us live shortly to update us on what is happening in the CBD as far as the Azimio protests are expected later today. It's a protest that have faced a lot of criticism from the ruling Kenya Kwanza government, as they say the Azimio side should seek alternative means to air their grievances other than vandalizing businesses and leading to closure of schools. Remember, the Azimio protest had been stopped at some point when the bipartisan talks were being held, but unfortunately, at some point they collapse, and this is now we see them coming back after the passing of the Finance Act 2023 and it being assented by President William Ruto. But right now, we join our reporter, Kombo Alfayo from Kisii County, to paint to us a picture of what is happening in Kisii County. Good morning, Kombo. If you can get me clearly, do update us on this, how the situation is like in Kisii County today.
Thank you very much, Flora Rimuki. I'm getting you very well from these grounds, the famous roundabout of Kisii, that is capital roundabout. And as you can be able to see with my camera person, you can see that officers are around here and others are situated at the roundabout. The situation at this place always as normal when there is this protest of Azimio is that this is where the protesters always walk to and put their pledges down here. And as you can be able to get it from last week when there was the last protestations, officers of the GSU were here. But situation here in Kisii County, as you can be able to see, as my camera person is able to pan the other side, businesses are not as normal. Doors have been opened halfway, others are just opening doors halfway with expectations that anything may happen in any time from now. And information that I'm receiving is that the sides of Mwembe Mashauri, it's chaotic, where we are seeing that officers are lobbing canisters to the protesters who have already started rioting in those sides of Mwembe Mashauri at this moment as we are talking. But the sides of Daraja Mbili, Daraja Moja, and these sides of Capital, they're downstairs there at Hema and the stage of where there's the buses of Transline. There's nothing that is happening at that side. The situation is just calm, and we see that businesses are just going as normal in the sides of Daraja Mbili. But these sides of town, we see that businesses and doors are opened halfway. Others have not opened totally because of the fears that they have, because of the previous mandamanos that have been happening and the chaos that have been seen here in town in Kisii town. We are seeing that very many people have already closed their businesses. People are walking here in town to see what is happening, and we can see that border riders also of them are also walking in town, just moving around to see what is happening. And as you can see that with me here, I will talk with few people to be able to tell us what is the situation, what is the expectation. Maybe if you were able to come here in just 2 words, you tell us what is your feel and what do you see.
Kwa majina naitwa Evans Nyakundi Bogongo, mimi ni msaliwa wa Kenya wa Kisii. Kwa kweli biashara vile tulikuwa tunatachia leo ifanyike haijafanyika, milango imefungwa na tunashindwa hii ni nchi yetu ama tunafaa tuende nchi nyingine. Kwa hivyo naomba rais wa nchi yetu ya Kenya William Samoei Ruto urudi chini, uitishe kiongozi wa Azimio, mkuje mkae chini na yeye mtatue shida yenye iko kwa hii nchi yetu ya Kenya. Kupishana yeye kwenda kupishana Mama Ngina, kupishana Azimio leaders, kuwakimbisha bado hivyo chatatua shida ya Kenya. Wahite wakuje mkae chini mtatue shida, ndio nchi yetu iendelee mbele. Hiyo ndio nilikuwa nataka kuomba rais wetu wa Kenya, na mimi nilikupigia kura, sijui kwa nini unafanyia mimi hivi.
Let us have one person to tell us in one word.
Yes. Mimi naitwa Paul Mageto. Mimi tunaombea rais. Tumeona president ambaye wametawala katika ulimwengu huu kama Barack Obama. Saa hii akiingia katika Amerika, wazungu wote wanampigia saluti, wanamsifu. Tunakusii Rais William Ruto, jameni, hii mambo yote iko katika ofisi yako. Jameni, tunakuomba ongea na Raila Amolo Odinga kusudi tupate amani katika, na sisi tupate na nafasi ya kufanya biashara. Tena tunakusii rais, usikie kilio ya mwananchi analia njaa. Kwa njia ya kunyang'anya au sujama mabunduki. Wewe unaona security kama yule mama ameseeka, huyu anaitwa mama ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Jamani mama, wewe mnianganya yeye security. Mama ndiye analeta maandamano. Kwa hivyo tunakusii rais wetu, wacha na sisi tuseme ya kwamba tuko na rais ambaye ni maana tunaweza kumbuka katika miaka mingine. Tunakusika na mzee Raila Amolo Odinga alafu muweze kumkuongea hiyo kitu, mambo iweze kuwa sawa.
Thank you very much. As we have heard, those are just a few sentiments of residents here in Kisii County. Most of them are pledging with the president so that to have talks with Raila Amolo Odinga, and we'll be updating you from time to time the situation here at Kisii County. And from Kisii County, my name is Kombo Alfayo. Back to studio, Flora Rimuki.
Well, thank you, Kombo Alfayo, for that. And of course, remember to keep safe even as you update our viewers on what is happening in different parts of the country. Let us now look at the situation in Bungoma County. Perhaps if my director can show us live pictures of Bungoma County and the situation so that we can assess how the situation is like there, even as Azimio protests are expected to be going on later today. As you can see, it's business as usual. People are going around with their business. It seems quite calm as compared to last Wednesdays. And of course, this protest, most people have been complaining of the high cost of living that has been occasioned, of course, by the passing of the finance bill and therefore an act later on, meaning that even basic commodities will cost higher prices if at all the petition by Okiya Mtata is passed. But even as we continue to assess what is happening across all the 47 counties and right here at the heart of the city, let us now look at the situation in Emali. Remember last Wednesday's protest in Emali, it was quite intense, where we saw someone actually lost their life to a police gunshot during the anti-government protest in Emali Township on the Mombasa-Nairobi Highway on Wednesday last week during the Azimio protest. The incident that happened that early morning, during the early morning protest, where hundreds of residents barricaded the Mombasa-Nairobi Highway, paralyzing transport on the busy road that leads to Mombasa County. The demonstrators took to the streets to protest against the high cost of living in the country. Protests that were led by the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition leader Raila Odinga. And of course, today, all eyes are on what is going on, not only in the country, in Nairobi, but also across many other parts of the country. And of course, TV47 will keep you updated on that and much more. But right now, we join our reporter, Moige William, who is in the Central Business District, to update us on what is happening. Good morning, Moige. Could you tell us how is the Nairobi CBD looking like? Is the security beefed up? Is it business as usual? Because it has been the center of this protest, but is the situation different from last Wednesday's? Moige?
Thank you so much, Flora Limuki, back in our broadcasting center. Well, here we are, boots on ground already at the CBD, the heart of Nairobi. Well, the sun under the city, known for its bustling streets, busy days, but the situation is different this morning. As you can see right behind me, not the usual number of people who come in. Officers in that marked are in a police. Those are police officers, but are in plain clothes. And you remember in the numerous press conference that Azimio la Umoja has held, they have been lamenting that such police officers, assumed to be police officers, have been the ones taken into the street and also patrolling during these particular days. But we have seen a heavy presence of police within the CBD. Currently, we are along Tom Mboya Street, whereby we have seen a number of platoons of police officers. There you go. That is the administration police unit also taking patrol in this particular street. But also we have seen this particular time, we have seen the National Youth Service also being added to be taking part of the patrol to ensure that all is well. But as of now, nothing of the usual has been seen within Nairobi and its environment. We have crisscrossed a number of streets. We have gone to Mwindi Mbingu, we have gone to Moi Avenue, but currently we are in Tom Mboya. But we are also going to visit Harambee. We're going also to visit River Road to see how the situation is. But I can tell you for a fact, people are still going on with their usual business. But the number is quite low, not the usual number. But if we could pan so that we show you, we've seen a number of stalls still not yet opened. The doors are still down. Locks, padlocks are still on. That means Kenyans have not come out in large numbers or the usual numbers to come to their normal activities to open their businesses. And that is interesting. Some of them, if you remember last week, Wednesday, still a business was disrupted and we had KEPSA lamenting that close to 2 billion to 3 billion has been lost due to this standoff between the Azimio la Umoja and the Kenya Kwanza. Remember, Azimio is protesting against the anti-Kenya Kwanza. But quickly, Lemuki, allow me to engage one Nairobi resident. Habari ya siku ya leo. Tuanze na jina lako na shughuli vipi siku ya leo hapa jijini Nairobi?
Naitwa Dada Mulemi. Mimi ni kadere wa troli, mimi ni hustler. Na ningependa kuuliza hawa watu wetu hawa Rao na Ruto. Wakimbie kuelewana tu. Na wakiitana hata mimi waniite hapo. Sababu mimi ni Mkenya. Sasa ni Ruto na Raila na mimi Mkenya wa kawaida. Atamuita Rais akiita Ruto Raila.
Ngoja Kadere kwanza kabla tuende kwa Raila na Ruto. Situation leo hapa CBD iko namna gani?
Ni kunoma. Business is very low. So first I would like to request the president na Raila waelewane kwa sababu wanaharibu nchi.
Sawa sawa. Kwa kawaida biashara inakuwa namna gani siku ya kawaida kwako?
Siku ya kawaida kwangu poa, tunapata tusukuma tumizigo na tumizigo. Lakini saa hii leo kama leo ndio skodi ya kwanza na saa hii. So kazi ni ngumu.
Asante.
Yes.
Asante kwa muda wako. So I would love, Flora, I would love to engage more residents because they want to give their sentiments. But for now, we are going to give you the current situation. As I was telling you earlier, if we could pan to the other side of Tom Mboya Street, so is the situation. Some business persons have agreed not to come to work today, maybe for fear of insecurity or their properties being destroyed, because last week, Wednesday, we had seen such chaotic scenes where unknown people were raiding businesses, causing chaos and havoc. We had seen one of the chain stores within Wayakiwe being raided on by unknown people, and quite a distraction. You can tell those business persons went under a lot of laws. So is the situation, but we are going to keep tabs with whatever is going to happen within the CBD. All hands on deck, all boots on ground to see what is the situation. Are things going to change even as time go by? Remember, still early in the morning, but the situation quite calm, quite gloomy within the CBD. Business not usual. A low number of people within town as expected. Back to you, Flora, in studio.
Well, Mwege William, thank you for that, and all our reporters bring us up to speed on what is happening in different parts of the country as far as the Azimio protests are concerned and expected to happen later today or as from now, but it seems as business as usual in many parts of the country. And you will be getting more updates in TV47 Matukio later in an hour or so with our Swahili anchors and reporters stationed across the country. But thank you for making this show a success and for joining us throughout the show, and your feedback. Of course, keep interacting with us at TV47 KE on Twitter, TV47 Kenya Facebook, TV47 Limuki_F, Fred Indimuli Nyaringita _ on Twitter.
At Fred Indimuli on Twitter, yes.
Nyaringita _ literally everywhere. Even on Threads, by the way. Are you on Threads,
yes,
Fred?
Fred is.
Yes, I am.
I feel like you're too
at
old
Fred
to be on
Indimuli.
Threads.
Oh, really? You went there?
Fred will sue you for...
Well, I've been here for the last 4 hours. It tells you I'm not that old. But what a show. 4 hours straight. And we're ready to do it again tomorrow.
The debut. It has been
amazing, man.
What do you think about the show today? Actually, let us know. Let us know how you like the new look, Morning Cafe, on TV47. Thank you so much for keeping us company from 6 a.m. till now. And we promise to do this again tomorrow morning. My name is Freddie Ndimuli. Good morning.
And I am Stanley Nyeringita. They'll be back tomorrow, 6 a.m. I'll be with you. Today, the debut of the marketplace, where we crunch the numbers and we converge in the marketplace. Stick around for that at 9 p.m. today.
And of course, thank you for making this first show, Morning Cafe, a new dawn, a success. And from the conversation we had earlier on, remember to stay happy. Everything you do, be in pursuit for happiness, and stay safe during these